Okay, so this is a slightly strange passage one. It's a synthesis of an online debate. It's a report on a debate that they held online. It's not an article from a magazine or a website. And there is some very difficult vocabulary in this passage. The English is very advanced, a bit more like a reading 3, to tell you the truth. So let's go and look at our question types and see what we've got. This is matching information to paragraphs. It's a difficult question type. I advise that you leave it for later. These can be difficult, this matching statements, but they can also be easy. Often it's quite easy to find where the information comes from because you can find the names. This is a kind of multiple choice, except you don't choose one, you choose two, and often also quite difficult. So my advice is to start with this one. Just check you're looking for a statement by these people, something that they said. So before you do anything, let's just go and find all of these names. First, Kanayo F. Nwanze. And then you just need to scan. There he is there. But be careful with this question type. Many times they mention the name of the person more than once. So we will continue to scan for that. Who's next? Sophia Murphy. She's there. Schengen Fan is there. Rukeya Kabir is there. Usually in the table they put it in the same order that they appear in the passage. Now the 3 names are there again, so I'll highlight them for now, but we won't need those because all 3 of them say this thing, so we're not going to need it. But here is Kabir again. There is Sophia Murphy again. Pat Mooney. Pat Mooney is over there. One thing that I would like to point out here is they always introduce the person by saying where he or she works or where she comes from or a university where they teach or something like that. And that tells you that this is the first time that that person has been mentioned in the text. So if you see this, you can feel confident that Pat Mooney is here for the first time and there's no Pat Mooney anywhere before that. Hilton. Be careful, there's Murphy again. There's Hilton. There are 2 names there, but they aren't in the table, so we don't need them. You can ignore them. Last one, Sonali Bisht. There she is there. Now be careful. You often need to look at the next sentence because they don't say the name again. They'll say he or she or something different. And you need to highlight that as well because she also said this sentence, this last sentence. Okay, so that's our first look at it and we found the names. Now for this question type, you are looking for statements, something that they said. It's not only what they said, it can be what they wrote as well. And so for this question type, you need to find all of the small phrases that show you this is information which this person said or wrote. For example, that over there, this guy argued that, and then there is the information. You will see with many of them, they use the word that, and then that is the information that you're going to be looking at. Similarly, suggested that. We are doing this because we only want to look at the sentences where these people said something. This is a difficult, unusual one. He held it up. It goes with as, to hold something up as. Quite unusual. I'm still scanning for these names just to make sure that I didn't miss anything. For example, some commentators, no, we don't want that. She commentated in her essay that. He argued that. He warned that. She noted that. Again, notice these. They emphasized that. We don't want them. They contended that. We don't want them. Most essayists, we don't want them. Oh, there's another one. Be careful of that. There's fan again. And this is very tricky according to this author. Who's this author? It's the previous one they mentioned. This author is fan. So we do need to look at that. We'll talk about these often in this course. This, that, these, those. I also like to test that you know who is this. So he explained that. According to is another way of saying, of introducing what he said or wrote. he suggested that. Some authors, they argued, no, we don't want them. Such groups, we don't want them. Murphy, again, another according to, and he warned that. We don't want them. We don't want them. We don't want that. This person wrote that. Okay. So now this helps us to really focus on only the sentences that we want. I'm just going to show you, by blacking everything else out, this is how you must think in the test when you do this question type. We don't want that or that. Please look at this information. This is just supporting information. IELTS never asks questions about this information. It's just to introduce him. There won't be a question there. You don't look at it. There as well. There as well. Now this, we don't want it. We don't want some commentators. This is just means some people. Again, studies show that. We don't care about the studies. We want what these people said. Now I'm going to black this out because all three of these people said this. We're only looking for what one person said, so there won't be an answer there. Many participants and commentators, I don't care about them. Others, I don't care about them. Many essayists, no, don't need that. Some authors and commentators, no, 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 no. Murphy, Ton, we don't care what these guys said. Some participants, no. And she said all of this. Okay, so that just shows you now how you can really, using these phrases here, you can really just focus in only on the sentences where these people said something. Right. Now, there's two ways to do it. You can look at these, look at 4, and then try and go and find 4 in the text. Or you can look at the first one and see what he said, and then find those in the questions. Up to you. I prefer to do it this way. What does this guy say? Governments can reduce risks for farmers by providing basic services like roads to get produce more efficiently to markets or water and food storage facilities to reduce losses. Oh, there's a lot there. A few keywords, maybe governments, reduce risk, farmers, basic services. Just look at the nouns for now. Roads, markets, water, food, reduce losses. Let's see if there's anything that we can find with any of those keywords. Financial assistance, government, yes, maybe, not always. Yeah, this is a negative. I didn't see a negative over there. Farmers, yes. A group, I didn't see anything about a group. Financial assistance, there was nothing there about financial. Financial is something about money. Providing basic services like roads, there's nothing there about money. Nothing financial. Financial again, individuals. Governments again, reduce variation in prices, again that's about money, no. Improvements to infrastructure can have an impact on risk. And that's the one I like. Infrastructure, where is it? Basic services like roads. That's infrastructure. Infrastructure will be on the vocabulary list that I give you. But the thing that I really like here is that word there, risks. They're talking about reducing risks and have an impact on risks. So I'm quite confident that number 9 is Kanayo F. Nwanze. Great. Let's see what's next. The procurement holding stocks can mitigate swings in food prices by, it's terrible vocabulary, really difficult vocabulary. I'm just going to replace it just to explain what they're saying, because if you don't know the vocabulary, you can't do this question. Buying is procurement. I'm just going to replace these words with an easier word so you know what we're actually looking for. Procurement means buying. Mitigate wild swings, sort of like a decrease crazy changes in food prices by, again, let's call it decreasing uncertainty about market supply. Let's see if we can find anything. I remember I saw prices, so I'll go straight there. You can check through these. There's nothing here about prices. This helps a lot. Governments reduce, that was the mitigate or whatever they said, and variation was the wild swings, the changes in prices. So governments was there, prices was there. they said wild swings here, which is the variation. Variation, another good word on our vocabulary list. So I'm quite confident that this was who? Sophia Murphy, B. Sorry, that should have been A, and Sophia Murphy is B. Schengen fan, what did he say? He's next. Social safety nets and public welfare programs in these countries can address poverty among farming families and reduce their vulnerability to shock. So it's like charity welfare programs can address poverty, reduce poverty. Financial assistance, maybe that's social assistance from government, doesn't know. This one will have something about not. Collaborating as a group, no. Improve standard of living, there we go. Improve standard of living, reduce poverty. Financial assistance was public welfare programs. It's like charity sort of programs. That's the financial assistance. And just check this one. If there's financial by some individuals who buy from them, no, I don't see anything about that. So I'm quite confident. 6 is Schengen fan. 6C. Who's next? Oh, we can delete that. These, what is these? State subsidies. That's financial. A subsidy, it's on our vocabulary list. To subsidize means to give money. This means government. The state and the government, it means the country. So these financial money from the government have not compensated for the stranglehold exercised by private traders. Really difficult, but let's look at financial from the government. And there it is there. That's a state subsidy. Please notice that not. We were looking for a negative. Notice the negatives, they often are in the text as well. So there's our not. So I don't feel 100% sure about that one, to tell you the truth, because I don't really see this. Have not compensated for the stranglehold exercised by private traders. I'm not really sure about that. So I like it because state subsidies means money from the government, financial assistance from the government, and there is a not over there, but I'm not 100% sure, so I'll come back to that later. What's next? Kabir again. Financial support often encourage the adoption of high input agricultural practices, raise production costs, encourage adoption of high input practices. I don't really remember anything about that. Farmers who most need it, collaborating as a group, individuals who buy from them. So no, nothing from that sentence. Murphy again. Futures excessively financialized, they contribute to price volatility, increases farmers' insecurity. Does not go to farmers who need it. Collaborating as a group, same, no, so nothing there. Right, then on to Fan again. He talks a lot here about climate and the weather. According to this author, climate again. So he's talking about climate and the weather here, and we don't have anything about climate and the weather. So what does Pat Mooney say? If we are to survive, climate policies that let peasants diversify. Again, more about climate, diversify plant and animals, species. I don't see anything. Murphy again. Wow, Murphy talks a lot. Collective action offers an important way. Collective action for farmers strengthen political, economic bargaining power, reduce risk. I like collective action. It's difficult vocabulary, but collective means a group. So collective action means group action, and that's over there. They benefit. Let's see if we can find something about benefit, something positive. Strengthen is benefit. Strengthen their power and reduce risk is benefit. So acting as a group brings benefit. So I'm quite confident about that one. Murphy is B. So that means number 5 is B. What are we still looking for? Does not go to the farmers who need it. Money from the people who buy from them. This does not come as a free. It takes time, effort and money. Okay, this is also talking about a group, but he's not talking about the benefits. She's talking about the benefits. So Nali Bisht wrote that. We don't need any of that. Community supported agriculture where consumers invest in farmers is risk sharing. Direct systems encourage agriculture but give consumers more control over the food they consume. So it's about consumers, and the consumers invest. They put money in. The consumer is the individual who buys from them. Them here means the farmers. So the idea here is the consumer invests money into the farmers. Financial input is investment. So we're okay with that one. Sonali Bisht G. And then I didn't see anything else about financial assistance from government, so I'm going to go with, because we are pushed for time, so I'm going to go with 4 as this one, because of the NAT and because of the state subsidies. Ruqayya Kabir. Okay, good. It took a lot of time, that question type. Don't let it eat up too much of your time. 1, 2, 3, 6 marks. It should only take you about 10 minutes to do that. Right, let's move on. Alright, so the next one that I recommend, the next question that I recommend that you do is this one. It can be difficult and sometimes it can be not so bad though. These are usually very difficult, so I would leave them until last. So there are only 3 of these. Now the first important thing to realize is that we have not used these paragraphs yet. We started over here in paragraph D with that other question. So I'm going to definitely focus on these paragraphs. IELTS likes to spread their questions out over the whole passage. Then we're going to see if there are any keywords. Maybe some of these can help us because we have looked at those paragraphs already. So let's look at our keywords. Characteristics. So this is first reference. Characteristics, food production. But there is another important keyword in this, and that's that word, only. It's quite a strong word, so if you see it in any question type, please notice that word only. In number 2, challenges, they can probably paraphrase that. It's problems, obstacles, many other words for challenges. And then again, only. And farmers in certain parts of the world, you should look at that as one big noun phrase. Certain parts of the world, we don't know what parts. And then number 3 is difficulties, same thing, challenges, problems, bringing about cooperation between farmers. So as I said, you do want to concentrate on those first 3 paragraphs. There will be 1 or 2 there. But immediately I do see this word and I remember it from the previous questions that we did. It's collaborating as a group means cooperating. Cooperating means working together. So I just want to see what they say there. That was Sophia Murphy, but I remember it from this paragraph over here. And there it is over there. Collective action groups, cooperative or producers groups. There's the cooperation. So this is all about collective action, operating in groups, cooperation. So I'd probably, even though I'm not 100% sure, because of time, I'd probably just go with that one immediately. Now, food production, certain parts of the world, challenges, only. Now we just need to scan, but we need to scan clever, and we'll start at the beginning. And immediately I can see it there and there. So that's a good start. Characteristics only apply to food production. Can you see where the word only is? It's that over there. That means these problems are unique to food production. They are only experienced by food production. I will talk about this kind of language later on. It's very important when you see 2 things, 5 aspects, 4 factors, and then the linking language that is attached to it. That always introduces important information, and IELTS loves to ask questions about those things. 5 factors, 4 aspects, 2 characteristics. So here, that's what they focused on. Good. So I'm quite confident to go with A for question 1. Then what are we scanning for? Challenges only, farmers in certain parts of the world. This is the kind of thing that I'm going to look for. Maybe they're talking about developing countries or dry countries or something about areas, regions, countries. Here I know immediately they're talking about a place. Again, as I said in the previous reading, the however or the but introduces important information, and here it is: smallholder farms in developing countries. So that's certain parts of the world. Where is the only? Actually, it's not there. They say, however, these farmers must also deal with these. So only they must deal with those problems. And it's repeated there just to make sure. So definitely that makes me feel confident that this is B. So it wasn't too difficult because we'd done these questions before. We got a little bit of help from that word cooperation. And then with these two, we knew which paragraphs to go and look at. Let's move on to the final questions. Okay, on to these last ones, which are very difficult. It's a kind of multiple choice where you need to choose two of them. Usually you can kind of find where to look from these headings over here, from the question over here. But here they don't really give you much. They say problems and farmers in developing countries, and the whole thing is about farmers in developing countries. So there's no real key words that you can look for. These ones are very difficult because it's so difficult to find where you need to look. So unfortunately, the only thing you can do is highlight these keywords and then just scan like crazy for those. Maybe you can look through them and see if there's anything that you remember seeing. For example, we did see changing weather. We did see weather earlier on. But otherwise, I can't think of an easy trick or an easier way to do these. So if you scan, you will see that irrigation is nowhere. I saw insurance over here, but it's not that answer. This is the one where we were talking about weather. And it's this sentence: the unpredictability of weather patterns increases the farmer's difficulty. I actually got it wrong initially because I saw smallholder farm in developing countries and I saw that over there, so I thought, okay, it's that paragraph, but it's actually not. The changing effect of weather patterns is over here, and the intermediary purchases is over there. I scanned for irrigation, I couldn't find irrigation, and locally produced food, I couldn't find it. One of the important things is don't waste too much time on it. If you guess, you might get one right, and you can spend a lot of time scanning for all of these things. So the answers are D and E. D is I've already showed you, and E is this intermediary thing over here. One thing that you can do when you're scanning is remember you're looking for problems. So you're looking for negative language. So any kind of negative language you should focus in on. There's negative language over there, and there's negative language over there. So the negative language could direct you a little bit. Usually with this kind of question, they isolate it to one or two paragraphs, but here they've put it one over here and one over here, so it makes it extra difficult. Plus they've given you this false red herring over here that puts you in the wrong place. A very horrible question. Don't waste too much time on it. Same thing again. First just read them and see if there's anything that you recognize. This one, we saw this word, so you can go and look at that paragraph because we know where that is and see if it matches up. And again, this is positive language now because we're looking for actions which are recommended for improving. So this one you're looking for all the negative language, this one you're looking for all of the positive language. So here's like positive language that you can help, and there's the cooperatives, and this is the cooperation between a wide range of groups. So yes for this one, for C. And then again you have to just kind of scan. Usually solutions, I would say, are toward the end. They often put problems first and then solutions. So this one I would be scanning toward the end of the passage. We also saw that encouraging consumers to take a financial stake in farming was this exact same thing over here. So we did see that. So one thing that you can do here before you even go and look for anything is we saw that one before, we saw that one before, we saw that one before. So we did see them before, and you can use what you already know to help you to guess. So this one, yes, so the answers to this is C and E. But these were two very difficult questions because it was not clear where you should be looking, so you just had to scan like crazy. So don't waste too much time on it. If you have to, then just guess and move on. Alright, so that's the end of that.